Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release, unearthing video game relics once thought lost and forgotten. Second time's the charm. Welcome to May 1982, where we're playing everything. We last played Nightcrawler on the Commodore VIC-20, and now let's press forward and see our next game.
マシーンゲームマシンの冒険者シンセサイザーのプレイヤーコンピューターの挑戦者今マックスカートリッジで変身するコンピューターをおもちゃにするのは僕たちだフレンドリーコンピューターマックスマシーン
I love how it gets unearthed from an asteroid. They take it and destroy it, and it's comes from the asteroid. This is the Commodore Max Machine, the newest computer that we've seen on the show in Japan only, and this is Omega Race. Let's take a look at Omega Race, starting with the box. As usual, front of the box has a lot of homages to what was on the Commodore VIC-20. This is really not the sequel to the VIC-20. Commodore 64 is the true sequel. This one's kind of a diet version of the Commodore 64, at least the Commodore Max Machine. But you can see on the front of the box, they are giving homages to the VIC-20 version. Let's see what other artwork we have for Omega Race. It is the port of the arcade that we've already seen on the Commodore VIC-20. Let's see if the Max Machine blows it away to the max. So that's all we got for artwork. Let's pop in the cartridge and play Omega Race in the beginning of May 1982. Developed by Midway and published by CBM, Commodore Business Machines. So here we go. We got a few options. We can do keys or joystick or paddle controls, your ship color and screen color. So check it out. If I push F5, it'll switch out and show us what ship color we want. So you just keep scrolling through all of the 16 colors, I'm guessing 16 colors that you can pick from. Sure, we'll keep it blue. And then if you hit F7, it'll change the whole screen color to whatever you want. So it is a custom game every single time. Sure, let's stick with that one. And then let's go in with joystick. And we are in. Graphically, it looks really similar to the Commodore VIC-20. Not noticing too many changes there, but plays very well. And the same, and the options to use joystick, keyboard, and paddles is really, really nice. It's got the slight physics similar to playing if you're going to play asteroids. It even looks similar. You're playing as a triangle ship. Take out all the enemies. They lay mines. You know, watch out for them. A lot of the games we're going to be seeing every game on the Commodore Max Machine. We are not going to be able to get every single manual. As it is in Japan only, one, it's all going to be in Japanese. And the second is because when you look for this system, it's pretty obscure. And so to find the manuals for the Commodore Max Machine, I only have 2 game manuals that I could find. But we can figure out Omega Race, right? Yeah, we saw it in the VIC-20. We know how it works. Yeah, I love this. This is great. Excellent home port that you can play. Switches up enemy types. But to tell you the truth, the difference between the Max Machine and the VIC-20 is not that much of a difference. The way it feels and the way it looks, I'd be hard-pressed to see what is the difference between the VIC-20 version and the Commodore Max Machine. If I was picky, I could say the screen resolution seems a little bit different, but barely. It also feels maybe slightly better. I am using joystick, and you have lots of option controls, so it's basically the same thing. So if you bought the Max Machine to play Omega Race, just keep your VIC-20. Yeah, looks great and sounds great. If you're not familiar with Omega Race, it's obviously the port in the arcade. Some of the enemies lay mines that are the triangles that are dropped around, and then we have other enemies that are just the normal ones as the circles around the side. And that's it. We're back to the beginning, so that means we can switch out. I hate the screen color. Let's change it to anything we want. And there, ship color. Yeah, let's make it look stand out, and then go with joystick again. Boom. I'm surprised they didn't do too much different on the Commodore Max machine. It feels pretty much just like the VIC-20. As usual, you can check the links down below and see the VIC-20 version that we played a few episodes before. It's still fresh, so this is a very, very good game for the time on the VIC-20 and the Commodore Max machine, so I can understand why they switched it to cartridge for this version. So there you go, that's Omega Race for the Commodore Max machine. I'm going to say just like the VIC-20, it's an excellent title. I'm going to go 4 stars for Omega Race. Everyone that's here on the live show, either YouTube or Twitch, go ahead and send out your ratings on our 5-star rating scale. As if you were in 1982, how would you rate these in 1982? So I'm going to say 4 stars. It is an excellent title. I'm not going to say it's one of the best games you could play in 1980, or one of the best video games you could play on the home computer, but it is a very good title. All right, so that's Omega Race. Let's press forward and see our next game. We're next on the IBM PC, or MS-DOS. And on the left is the commercials that featured Charlie Chaplin, not the original Charlie Chaplin, but the IBM PC commercials had Charlie Chaplin rushing to get work done. He just can't get it done unless he gets an IBM computer. There it is, yes. Go into the store. Nice. We haven't gone back that old. It's not the silent era or anything. There it is. Hey, welcome, Barnacle Build. Yes, this is the year of Pole Position. Tonight, though, Pole Position does not come out in May yet. Or at least that I saw in our predictions of what's going to be coming out. All right, so this game is Pac-Gal. Pac-Gal is another homebrew, freeware, however you would want to call it, in 1982. It is not an officially published game. It's a clone of Pac-Man, and obviously we had Miss Pac-Man that came out in February this year, and Pac-Gal is a clone of Miss Pac-Man, possibly? Let's pop it and play Pac-Gal. It's beginning May 1982. Let's see. So the beginning says how fast you want it to go. 0 being extremely fast, and then 30,000 being the slowest. Very weird scheme there. So if I like do, for example, 1,000. Well, let's try 10,000. What's 10,000 like? And then we're in. We are using the ASCII characters that are pretty much part of the MS-DOS or IBM PC. I mean, the smiley face down the bottom. Oh, yeah, it's pretty slow for 10,000 speed. But all the enemies that are chasing me are symbols on cards. Clubs, spades, diamonds, and hearts. You move around the maze, pick up one of the power pillars, just like Pac-Man. So Pac-Gal is a very rudimentary version of that, and we're going slow. They give you the option to pick lots of speeds that you want. Oh, I better move away from this guy. But yeah, this is pretty slow. Let's speed this up. Because you can go fast. You can even go too fast if you wanted to. As usual, the games that are on this are playing off of the processor, so if you try to play this on a modern system or a heavily powered system, it's going to be way too fast. All right, so let's go with 1,000 instead of 10,000. You can see the difference in speed here. There you go. Much faster, but this means the enemies are brutal. And hear that internal speaker giving us some of those crisp IBM PC sounds. Gosh, yeah. I don't know if I could be able to beat this. I have to get the speed just right. They're picking the reason they had the way to pick the speed in the beginning is because they're not familiar with exactly what system you have. There could be a lot of different architectures you could use, so it's an interesting touch, but it's a little rough. And obviously you can see they're just doing this based on the graphics that came with this. Oh. Not doing anything super impressive, all in ASCII, basically. There you go. So if you have a maze game, you want to play something on IBM PC, then Pac-Gal, sure, go for it. Of all the games we've seen to this point, I'm not going to call it a bad title, but if you think of the home computer and the other games you could play on the home computer, I'm going to say it's a subpar experience. It doesn't feel complete, so I'm going to say 2.5 stars. But not bad, just subpar in 1982. Yeah, if you need to go faster, that's true. We'll just push the turbo button next time. All right, so that's Pac-Gal. Let's see what our next game is. Here we are on the Atari home computer. This is Pacific Coast Highway, or HWY. It's Highway, by Datasoft. Let's see the box for Pacific Coast Highway. So Datasoft Incorporated computer software. Sticker in the bottom right. This is the cassette box for the Atari 400 and 800. We have a rabbit and a turtle crossing the road with some nice cars blowing us over. And I really enjoy when we get these actual scans of the box. Not a reconstructed glossy one. The actual scan. And we flip it over in the back of the box. You can see this is by Ron Rosen. Way to go, Ron. Pacific Coast Highway stretches along the scenic California shore from Baja to beyond. But when it passes through Malibu, it explodes into action, especially when the surf's up. Then a nonstop line of cars and vans fill PHC with PHC if you're cool, and feverish activity as they merge into the frantic jumbled attempt to catch the perfect wave. Can a lazy tortoise make its way across this bumper-to-bumper traffic jam of maniac motorists? If not, it's turtle soup and chances the ambulance is screaming in distance coming for you. With luck, your thick-skinned hero will escape, and if he's fortunate enough to avoid a free ride to nowhere on a moving sidewalk, he'll find himself on the sparkling sands of Surf City. That's right, so we are most likely a Frogger clone. Wait for the turtles can't swim. Yeah, so we're playing as a turtle, it looks like, even though there's a rabbit on the front of the box. Let's see what other art we have for Pacific Coast Highway. This is the alternate box. The original looked like this by Ron Rosen, 16K memory. And then if we flip it over in the back, we have a different back of the box from the original. You can see this looks more like software rather than a video game. Is there anything on the game back here? Medium judgment resulted from... Oh, it's data. Oh, it's the warranty, I guess. Yeah, it's the warranty. It's not anything about the game. And then here's the advertisement we'd see from Datasoft at the time. The other ones that are coming out soon: Canyon Climber, Clowns and Balloons, Shooting Arcade. We haven't seen yet. This is the first one at this ad by Datasoft. And there's the cassette we're going to pop in. That's right, cassette tape. Cassette tape. And we also have the manual as well. And the manual's just one page. It was on the inside leaf. It's a 1- or 2-player game. Look both ways and run like crazy. It's always dangerous crossing the coast highway, but if you're lucky, surf's up. So this is on both disc and cassette. The object is to cross the street. So at this point, we have Frogger and we have Freeway by Activision. That's out there as the Let's Cross the Street game. We've already seen a few Frogger variants, not too many. And Freeway wasn't really based on Frogger. It was kind of its own thing. Yeah, it was a very generic box. You can see here, this is just text. Doesn't have any pictures or explaining what you're seeing on the screen, but it's controlled with a joystick. You can plug in your VCS to the Atari computer, and then we have the option key to choose 1- or 2-player game. That's the special feature. Pretty simple, bare bones there. Oh, that's true. Crush Roller too, yeah. Good shout out there. All right, so this one has different versions. We have the no loading screen like the original one on the first box we saw, and then a hacked version, and then the first one by Datasoft. So here we go. Let's pop in and play Pacific Coast Highway at the beginning of May 1982 by Datasoft. Let's see what Ron Rosen has for us. I'm actually really excited to show you this one. This blew me away the very first time. There we go. We start with music. Some of the best music we've heard is on the Atari home computer. It's that pokey chip in there. And it's still playing. So we can switch options. Does it say? Yeah, there we go. So if I hit the option button on our computer, it'll go from 1-player to 2-player. And if I push select, nothing happens. So that's all we got is 1-player or 2-player. So I'm going to go ahead and do a 1-player game, push start. And then we're in. Yes. You get with the ambulance comes and picks you up. There's been a theme on the Atari home computer. Games are getting animations when you die. Very, very quaint. But here we go, making our way to the other side. Once you get to the top, where the rabbit symbol is. So am I a rabbit or a turtle? In the bottom left, my lives look like rabbits. I'm wondering if it's different on the cassette versus the disc version. Yeah, so this is a very well done version of Frogger. Oh, and they have a different animation. The ship comes and picks you up from your bloody mess. But look at the sound. We have some music that plays. Very, very smooth game. The controls feel very nice. And you notice it had 2 screens? Yeah, it goes, instead of cramming it all into one, it actually flips to the water one. He's got really good insurance. This is California. We're on the Pacific Coast Highway. All right, so there you go. Game over. But despite the deaths, though, very, very well done. But here's the thing. Pacific Coast Highway does something that we've never seen before. If I push option and do 2-player, It is not alternate 2-player. I'm going to plug in 2 joysticks. While I don't have a guest with me, I'm going to push start, and ladies and gentlemen, for the very first time, you can move the 1-player, and at the same time, I'm using 2 joysticks, 2-player Frogger. That's right, even though it's Pacific Coast Highway, this is the very first time we've ever seen simultaneous Frogger. Arcade didn't have it, none of the other ports we've seen have had this. And it plays really, really well. Play control is really nice. So one person's playing as the turtle, and the other person's playing as the rabbit. So if I move myself up here, got to get to the rabbit symbol, and then we're good. And then whoever is playing on the other side is playing the turtle. The characters look exactly the same. They don't really look like rabbits or turtles. But the fact that you can play 2 people and you're working, I don't know if it's together. I think it's more of a race. You know, rabbit versus turtle to get the other side. Very nice touch. Homage to the classic children's tale. Uh-oh. But if I jump on the wrong one, look, it counts as a death. I have to make it to my space as the turtle or the rabbit. So we're going in again as the rabbit. Or the red character. Red for rabbit, I guess. Make our way across. And as long as you make it to your platform, then you're good. But you can do this at the same time. I'm obviously alternating back and forth with a joystick, but wow. Oh, that's a good point. Let's have them go on top of each other. You can see that it makes it so you can play together without a competition. So if I move as my character over on top, it's like they're not there. So when you play with someone else, there's no pushing or shoving or any of that. It's just you get to play at the same time, almost like when you're playing a beat 'em up with a if you hate the modes and beat 'em ups where you can hit each other while you're playing, then it won't happen. You just breeze by. But yeah, good point. Can you be aggressive and not make it cooperative? I think they were trying to go for just let's race, get to the other side faster than the other person, and you can just keep going. You notice the player 2 has already lost all their lives. Player 1 gets to keep going, get their score going, and then whenever they die, which I'll probably be doing soon, then the other player does their turn. But man, simultaneous Frogger, 2-player simultaneous Frogger blows me away. And to have a buddy to play this would be great. Oh, if you don't make it on the spot, though, then you die. You got to make sure you get it to that one spot. So slight variation from Frogger, but I think done very, very well. And if you think of all the other games we've seen to this point, I'm going to give Pacific Coast Highway, this is one of the best games you could play up to this point. So in the chat, if you want to throw out some of your ratings, would you go 4.5? I'm thinking of going 5, as this is one of the best games you could play on a home computer. A 2-player simultaneous Frogger game that has excellent play control, very well done sprite work, and it's 2 separate screens. I'm all for it. Chiptune's going 5 as well. Very nice. This is your chance. I guess that's the reason to come on the live show. Throw out the ratings so you can go back in time and rate the games as if it was happening now, as the latest release. All right, so we're going to go 5 stars. It is one of the best games you could play in 1982. Yeah, that's true. And they look better than the other cars, right? Slightly larger sprites for the vehicles. And even the boats look really nice. Oh, and we're going to details of the characters, but just a very well done game. All right, so a surprising entry of probably an unknown video game, but think about it. We played everything up to this point. Now let's see what our next game is. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Mark. All right, so this is, again, on the Atari home computer, Pathfinder, originally by Gabelli Software. Let's take a look at Pathfinder, starting with the box. And I use the term box loosely. These sometimes weren't a full box. There were a sleeve that held the disc inside. So if you see on the front, there's a punctured hole, and these would be on racks that you could just pull off in the department store. At least this one example. So it says Solitaire Group requires 32K plus the joystick to play this one, and we really enjoy everything by Gabelli Software. And then this was the later release. Softsmith Software picked it up. You can see in the top, copyright by Gabelli Software. So this is the later one, but Softsmith's done a few other games where they take properties and then just make it themselves. So just 2 different boxes, same game for Pathfinder. Here is the instructions you see on the inside. Kind of hard to see from this screenshot, but we're going to get a manual that we can zoom in on it. There's our 5.25 floppy disk for Pathfinder by Gabelli Software. Really excited for this one. Not by Nasir Gabelli, but still, Gabelli Software is pretty good. Here's the manual we got for Pathfinder. Based on kind of the box of the front of the box, this was a scan by Atari Mania. Thank you so much, Atari Mania, for getting those in. And you can see the front of the box is going very retro. just throwing out lots of different scientific concepts on a grid. Doesn't really tell you about the game, though. What is Pathfinder? I don't know what I'm doing based on the front of the box. Here it is. Pathfinder contains a maze with radioactive waste strewn about. As Pathfinder, you have to rid the maze of this waste. There are complications, however. The maze also contains radioactive entities which try to destroy you. Objects like the Pathfinder. This is using power to move and fire weapons. The amount of power available depends on how much nuclear waste you can absorb. With sufficient power, you can destroy a nuke. You can fire plasma blasts and fire retardant pellets in 8 directions. For example, to fire to the right, move right and press the button on your joystick. And then we have the nuke. Use power to protect itself from plasma blasts and to move. It absorbs power from radioactive waste and from destroying Pathfinders. Its maximum strength is set by the level of play. Nuke will pursue Pathfinder if it's strong enough. It destroys Pathfinder on contact. Then we have the Mine Layer. Uses no power, vulnerable to plasma blasts. During play, Mine Layer attempts to block Pathfinder by laying mines in the maze. If Nuke is weaker than Pathfinder, Mine Layer will block Pathfinder's way to the nuke. Contact with the mine or Mine Layer destroys Pathfinder. So you're, I guess, gaining power from the power plant. And we played another game using the power plant motif, that game Meltdown by APX. That's a big concept on everyone's mind. Now we're starting to see it in video games. This close to one another, though, it's interesting. So we got Phantom, uses no power and is vulnerable to plasma blasts. Unlike other entities, Phantom traverses the maze without regard for obstacles. So our environment is, we're moving through a maze, top-down maze, forces you to follow pathways that are clear. As a result, Pathfinder can blast through walls, but only by using extra power. Other obstacles are fire, can be extinguished by fire-retardant pellets. Fire Station will dispense a number of fire-retardant pellets depending on the level of play. When all the pellets are used, Pathfinder resumes the normal plasma blast. So if we find fire, we can go get it with a Fire Station. Then we have mines that blow up on contact with the Pathfinder. Nothing else is affected by them. Mines can be destroyed by a plasma blast at the expense of starting a fire. Barriers are anywhere in the maze that can be impervious to plasma blasts, and then radioactive waste canisters. Both nukes and Pathfinders can absorb them by direct contact. Corridors appear in higher levels of play. They can be used to move to the other side of the maze. Use with caution. Each level of play is characterized by color changes, sound warnings, possibly by the changes in the maze itself. Placement of waste, fire stations, corridors, and barriers changes with the destruction of each set of nukes. And there are no specific point values. What? This is the very first game that they did not lay out the point values. The value of each entity from highest to lowest is what? They just say that's the lowest point and that's the highest point? Everything else? Oh, I'm sorry. The highest is the nuke and everything else is low. That is so bizarre. We played game after game. Everything tells us the point values. Everything. Well, some games, I guess, if you think of Utopia. No, Utopia even had the point values. I'm just thinking of the obscure, weird ones out there. And then the lower display contains power indicator showing you how safe it is to pursue to destroy the nuke. Okay, got it. Everyone got it? Other versions we got is the Softsmith or Gabelli version. Let's go with the first. Gabelli software version. In the beginning of May 1982. This is by Randy Jonkins, the Solitaire Group. Way to go, Randy. So it's done by a different developer and then published by Gabelli Software. We will see that quite a bit. We have seen more and more larger developers coming rather than just one person working on the game. All right, here we go. So select for the level, and this is me picking levels. Oh, nice. We get different colors if we do that. Anything want to hit option? No, nothing for option. This is on the computer itself. Wow, how many levels we got in this? Okay, 15 levels. That's pretty... Okay, we'll start with level 0 and see what it's like. All right, push and start. And we are in. There I am. I am the Pathfinder. Oh, wow. Very impressive. It is not a fixed screen maze game. This is a scrolling anywhere game. That's pretty nice. Okay, so we have what I believe is I'm picking up some power here. Nukes there. Nice. And then if I want to blow away, is this all radioactive waste? Yeah. You just tear this stuff away and that's how you get your points? Okay, done. And am I using power to do this? Looks like it. And in the bottom right, it's giving me information on what enemies are out there to destroy. So you can see I have this one here. I do have an 8-way shot, though. So if I move the ship, it has a little coast or a drift to it, just slightly drifting. Feels pretty nice. And then whenever I want to shoot, if I hold the button down, the red button, it's going to fire in the direction I want and just continue to fire that way. I'm just holding it down. And I can do 8-way fire, which is pretty nice. But But we're just going in and clearing up radioactive waste. Racking up the points. Power's going down, so you go and select some icons to get more power, just like that. I'm getting vibes of another game we played by Ghibli Software where we're inside of a human organism. Well, it's not really the same, but... Wait, oh, power... I should have watched my power. Okay, so coming back to the beginning, we reset. Shows us our lives in the bottom right. Oh, so we're going to see this later on the Commodore 64 as well. Okay. First one done by the Solitaire Group. Which I think that means it's just one developer if it's the Solitaire Group. There we go. Feels like I'm a cleanup crew right now. Go ahead and get some more. Nice. But this free scrolling's pretty cool. Able to move all the way around. And it doesn't seem like I'm rapping. Or I haven't seen the screen wrap yet. Alright, let's see if we can take one of these out. Oh, no. Oh, I ran out of power. I gotta remember to watch my power meter at the bottom. And go pick more up. Really cool idea. This is a little bit more fun than being inside the human organism game. It actually feels like I'm accomplishing something. Let's see if we can blow these up. Alright, so got it. And then now we need to put out the fire, right? Yeah, let's see if we can go get some. So we got to go find the F for the fire disposal. Load up our shots. There's one. Yep, push into it. You can see fire disposal loading up. A few shots there. Okay, go and find some fire. We'll go ahead and load up on some power too. Looks like every time we move, we're slowly losing power. No, it's not going down yet. Looks okay. There you go. So that's putting out the fire. And you can see, I picked up way too much. Now, the constant fire retardant is shooting. I gotta wait until that runs out. So I'm just gonna waste it until it's out. Then I can go ahead and blow up some more nukes, get the fires going. Nice, go in there, blow this one up. Okay, so we are getting a barrier or a wall. At first I thought this was gonna wrap around. Very, very impressive programming. And the sound's a little bit lower, but we're still getting great sound effects for the Atari home computer, and a little bit of bleeps and bloops difference there. I tried my luck, but it didn't work. And there you go. Oh, option to begin. What? That's interesting. It is. So the option button doesn't do anything here. It only is select the level you want. And then options only to come back in the game. All right. Nice. Okay, so for all the home computer games we played, this is a very good game. Very fun to play. It is only one player, but I'm not going to fault it for that. We got plenty of one-player games that are excellent for the time. So of all the games we've seen up to this point, I'm going to say Pathfinder is definitely an above-average title. You can tell it's done with quality, giving you that scroll feeling of a world that expands beyond the screen. Those are always a plus. I'm going to go... the concept, though, can get a little where you're just destroying walls. So you're not having enemy types, like in shooters, fixed shooters and so forth, or asteroids. So just going around cleaning up nuclear waste isn't the most enjoyable, but I'm still going to go 3.5 stars. Yeah, I was going to say it can be a bit repetitive. It's almost like the prequel of let's go, watch or paint a car in a video game, or lawnmower simulator. There's all kinds of things you could say. Oh yeah, so Mark's in the same boat, 3.5 stars, and that's what we're going to give here on Chronological Gaming for Pathfinder in 1982. And with that, let's see where we're going now. It's time to go to the arcade. This is Pepper 2. Pepper 2? I don't remember we ever saw a Pepper 1. Is there a Pepper 1? Oh, this is by Exidy. I bet Pepper 1 was a prototype, and Pepper 2 is the official one. I'm just estimating. I'm really not sure. Let's take a look at the artwork for Pepper 2. Oh my gosh. Oh, we got 2 different advertisement flags. Okay, so here's one by Pepper 2, an angel of a game with a devilish twist to it. Exidy, what is happening in your marketing department? This doesn't explain anything about the game. It's using the angel devil motif, but freaky. And then the other one, it looks like my mom playing video games. Did everybody's mom have this hairstyle in the 80s? Because that's exactly what I think my mom even held the joystick just like that. Why are they putting a mom on front of the Pepper 2? I don't know. Is it going to sell more arcade cabinets? Maybe. There's the arcade cabinet for Pepper 2. We got the devil angel on the side. Interesting artwork. It is by Exidy. They try a few things different. I'll give them that. And there's our control panel. Down on the front, looks like a 4-way joystick only. No other buttons, just play 1 or 2 players. Yeah, 4-way only to play some Pepper 2. And our arcade marquee, I have never seen this one in the wild. So if anyone has some memories of Pepper 2, send them my way. Let's take a look at the manual for Pepper 2, Operator and Service Manual by Exidy. Nice, Exidy. Who's the Exidy mascot? Maybe these guys are. We don't really have mascots yet. It's not a big thing. But every now and then we see, like, the back of the VIC-20 has a cartridge that looks like a mascot. It's adorable. All right, so let's get to what the game is and how do you play the game. We're going to go through a few things, because this is obviously the operative service manual they're going to go through. If you don't have all the parts for your system, how to file a claim, preliminary setup, instructions, making sure your PCB has all of the chips, diagnostic tests, when you first boot up, what to expect, all that's here. All those operators are salivating. Oh, man, it's all technical. Look at all that. I think I went too far. Yeah, I did. The explanation of the game was right past this part. There it is. 1 or 2 players. So this is a 2-player alternate game. You can't play at the same time. Each screen of Pepper 2 is the side of a cube. 4 sides must be filled in to advance to the next level. Oh, man, is it like a Rubik's Cube game? To fill in the side, the player guides Pepper, oh, that's who we are, around an invisible floor plan. As Pepper travels, they leave a track resembling a zipper. Once they close the space for room, it fills in and points are rewarded. The challenge and fun of Pepper is to determine the size and shape of the rooms in the floor plan. Square markers or posts give clues. They mark the location of either a T or an intersection. The floor plan is shown on side 1 during the first cube to help the player learn, or the beginning player, learn to play the game more quickly. Pepper, the angel, must avoid 2 enemies, Roaming Eyes and the pink Zipper Ripper, who unzips all freestanding lines, those not enclosed in a room. Pepper's one defense is to enclose a room containing a pitchfork, which turns him into a devil for a few seconds. So it's the power-up. At that time, he can go on Roaming Eyes for points. At the same time, Zipper Ripper freezes, but is still deadly. If Pepper backtracks on a freestanding line, it unzips. The player soon learns to maneuver Pepper around the lines in closing rooms to avoid losing freestanding lines to the Zipper Ripper. I'm guessing that's the one on the line. So we're essentially, after reading the instructions, it's another Commodore clone. And very interesting that we played another one on the Atari home computer called Jeeper Creeper. And this one has the power-ups like Jeeper Creeper. Another one really close to each other. The player goes to different sides of the cube by going out of 4 exits located in the middle of each side. When all 4 sides of the cube are filled in, a cube bonus is awarded, new levels given, and a cube appears at the bottom of the screen. So, yes, it is not a Rubik's Cube variant. We're playing an Commodore-style game, and it looks like if anytime player scores higher than 5 current scores, they're eligible to enter their initials in the vanity table. Is that the high score table? I guess, yeah, it must be. They're calling the high score table the vanity mode. Very nice. Nice touch, Exidy. I like it. So we only have 2 different versions that we're going to play, either 7 or 8. Let's take a look at Pepper 2. We're going to the arcade to play the latest by Hal Ivey by Exidy. So when you first go to the screen, this is what you'll see around the CRT, the full artwork. It's not, it's kind of zoomed out. But again, a little bizarre. They're going a little cartoony with the clouds, but not super impressive. But here's what's strange. The game's loading. The only other arcade game we know that loads like this is the Data East, the Deco cassette system. Those are arcade games, and this one is loading. Okay, I'm going to fast forward. How weird is that? What? Okay, there we go. We are in. Pepper's in. There's the vanity table. They have a Hall of Fame here. Not the vanity table. All right, I'm going to zoom us in and get a little closer to the action. Now you know what it looks like if you were in the arcade. Now, let's play some Pepper 2. Putting a coin in. Let's put some more coins in. I like that sound. That's pretty cool. Let's put some more in. There's all my allowance from 1982. And push and start. So we start off as the angel, make our way around, and zip, 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 and I turn into, oh, yes, change to the devil. And I can go destroy enemies. So all I'm doing is zipping around, trying to get everybody. Get them, yes. So I'm trying to get the best dates for these games, and it's so bizarre that we played... Oh, that's right, I can't zip in 2 directions. Interesting. It's so bizarre that we played Jeeper Creeper on the Atari home computer, and it has the same idea, which is the... I got trapped there. Let's do an Commodore game, but provide power-ups inside. And at this point, it's really hard to pin down exact release dates, but it's pretty strange how we have 2 games with a very similar feel released almost at the same time. I do like the power-ups here better, though. They're kind of like a power-up in Pac-Man. You just turn into a completely different enemy that can destroy everybody else. So here we go. And it also takes place there, moving to the top. You can go back and forth between... Got a whole side done? Oh, man, the flashing. Is that really in the background? It is. It's a sped-up Alfred Hitchcock theme. Nice. So we got 4 sides that we can travel to. There's not as many power-ups, though. Oh, I have a hammer over here. Let's see what that does. Game over. And the bottom left, it shows you which mazes you've completed. Cool, we can put our initials in. How do we get our... Oh, start button. Got it. I was going to say, it's a 4-way joystick with no buttons. What do you do? But, yeah, just push start. It is the Alfred Hitchcock theme. Alright, we're going in again. Push and start. I like it. Again, I say it's better than Commodore. And we're going to see so many games that copy Commodore. How many games are copying Pepper 2? And whatever happened to Pepper 1? The world may never know. Okay, so here's a safety pin. I don't know what that's for. Oh, points. Okay, that makes sense. Of course, safety pin for points. Because this... Can I get this guy? Oh, that must be the Zipper Ripper. And I got this. Looks like the hammer's just points. So you start off as Angel Pepper. Oh, tricky. And you're just switching between, are you going to be Angel Pepper or are you going to be Devil Pepper? And I like this idea that you're zipping and unzipping. So if I go back the way I came, it all unzipped itself until I finish it through. Now I can go ahead and take them out. My power-up time, though, is so short. It feels like one of the, whenever you're playing one of the later levels of Pac-Man. It's pretty brutal. And you gotta be on your toes. Having multiple screens is a nice touch, too. We didn't have that in Jeeper Creepers, but we're comparing, apples to oranges. It's a computer versus the arcade. It kind of goes to show how pretty impressive some of these computer games are when the arcade has games really close to what you'd see in the arcade. Would you be able to see in the arcade? There you go. Got that one zipped up. Let's go for an easy one over there. Yeah, this is really fun. And if you don't complete it, then you're going to unzip the grid. So right there, I completed this one. I'm going to complete this one there. Go ahead and go all the way. So every time you start one, just finish it off. Otherwise, it's going to unzip itself. There you go. Then once you finish it, you get the flashing. Oh, the duality. Maybe that's why I call it Pepper 2. But it's got the Roman numerals. That's used for sequels. Why would they do that for Pepper 2? But it's Exidy. Exidy does whatever it wants. Exidy's like Honey Badger. And the reason I say that is we're going to be playing a game in the arcade that will blow your minds if you know what I'm talking about, the very violent one. Exidy's trying to get by. It's a lot of competition out there right now. It works. Oh, they're up in the music. It's getting intense. Yeah, that's pretty fun. I would say of all the arcade games we played, Pepper 2 is a hit. It's better than Commodore. It plays a little bit faster than Commodore, and it's fairly recent. Taking the idea, obviously, but I'd still say of all the arcade games we've seen, Pepper 2, you know what? It's done very, very well. A simple idea and concept. I'm going to say it's one of the best arcade, around the area of the same best arcade games you could play. Got the music in the right spot, and the concept of the zip and unzip is great. I'm going to go 4.5 stars. Yeah, we got 4 from Mark, 4.5 from Chiptune. Yeah, we'll go 4.5 stars. You have to ask yourself, do you consider this one of the best games you could play in the arcade at the time? Or do you just consider it a very good or excellent game you could play at the time? I'm going to say it's one of the best. 4.5 stars for Pepper 2. All right, and with that, we're leaving the arcade, sadly. Let's see where we're going now. Oh, cool, we're back at home. It's the Atari 2600. And at this point, they're still only calling it the VCS. And this is Phantom Tank. Let's see what Phantom Tank's all about. We're going to Europe.
If you can survive the ghosts in Atari's Pac-Man, outgun the aliens in Space Invaders, live to fight another game of asteroids, and destroy the walls of Super Breakout, you deserve a shot at our latest new challenge, Defender. Atari. Simply more fun and games.
Simply more fun and games. And now we're just going to picture everyone in England being that guy playing the Atari. So this is Phantom Tank. Let's take a look at the box for Phantom Tank. This has lots of different regions in Europe. This one is the Sears Telegame box for Phantom Tank. And if we flip it over in the back, they give us a little bit more info. Yeah, still, this is by Bit Corporation. Energy is fiercely attacked by 4 or 5 vicious Phantom Tanks. The artwork is very reminiscent to something we'd see, like you're expecting to play Combat, or maybe using the vibes of Combat. But, I mean, it says Phantom Tank, there's tanks in the front, boom, slap it on the box, we got it, we're done. Let's see the other artwork we have for Phantom Tank. So we have, this is some of the other games that are released by Bit Corporation. Mission 3000, AD, Space Tunnel, Squirrel, which none of these we've seen. This is the first one by Bit Corporation we've checked out. It's another third-party publisher, but this is in Europe only. So we wouldn't have seen this one in North America. And the other artwork we have is the advertisement flyer. There we go. Through the years, designing now, Bit brings you the best games to choose. Fully compatible with the Atari VCS and ColecoVision. We don't know what that is. We don't know what that is yet. It's coming out soon, though. And then we have different options or different boxes that were available. Here's Phantom Tank by CCE. Going really Space Invaders or space-ish, sci-fi-ish. And then here's the instructions for Phantom Tank in, I think, Portugal is what we have here by CCE. Instructions and operating instructions. And then for the other regions, you would have seen Phantom Tank. Here's some different ones. Same artwork, though, it looks like. Yeah, there's the Puzzy one. And then in Germany, it was known as Phantom Panzer. Videospielkassette. All right, we have the manual for Phantom Tank. Is this a bargain bin game? Let's find out now. Instructions for Phantom Tank by Bitcorp. You can't really see them, but you feel them. Vicious Phantom Tanks seem to be shadows only, yet they seriously threaten the safety of Energy Base. You drive the armored car to fight with the devils in streets firstly. Then both of you confront each other on 2 sides of the river. If you go through the first 2 battles, you would have the decisive battle with the Phantom Tanks on the prairie. Prairie? Wait a second, what language is this? I feel like I'm reading something different. Try your best. For each battle you won, you would be equipped with one more armored car. See if you can regain the peace of the base. And then explains how to put the cartridge in, power it on, and then we can select different games. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4 with 1 or 2 players. And ladies and gentlemen, it is not 2 players simultaneously. Even though it looks like a Combat clone, it is not. It's alternating play. So you reset whenever you're ready to play, and the tanks control with the joystick in 4 directions, move up, down, left, and right. Fire your tank. It says Phantom Tanks threaten your armored car and Energy Base with its relentless firing. You must strike back to defend yourself and Energy Base. You fire your bomb. Again, where is this manual written? I'm surprised. Why are we firing a bomb from the tank? You press your VCS red button. Through the game, you can find speed and firing of Phantom Tanks would turn faster in the games 3 and 4, and then scoring all the points right here. let none of the Phantom Tank go near the base. It's most dangerous. As long as any Phantom Tank hits your base, the game is over. And they even give you the same screenshot. So we have 3 screens of action, and they kind of break down the first screen, your tank energy reserve, and then they show just an example of the other ones. And again, it's not a real screenshot. It's a recreated one. So the other versions that we talked about, we have the Bitcorp that made Phantom Tank, CCE, and then in Germany, Phantom Tank, Phantom Panzer. Let's go to Europe and play Phantom Tank at the beginning of May 1982 by Bitcorporation. So whether you do game mode or not, it's just going to get a slightly more difficult, and it's alternating play. So I'm just going to go game mode 1, push start, and you can see we have 5 lives down the bottom, and there I am in my tank. Obviously, that's a tank, right? You go around and shoot your bombs off. I'm just going to repeat what the manual said, even though it didn't make sense. Use my VCS joystick and go. So they're coming down to the base. They're trying to destroy the base. Got one. Man, we haven't heard the VCS explosion sound effects in so long. It sounds so beautiful. And this looks like a relentless amount of tanks. They just keep sending endless waves. Notice that they're flashing. There is a lot of flash going on. The enemy tanks, can anyone even see the flashing tanks from the live stream? This, I would say, is even worse than the Pac-Man flashing. But bear in mind, we're on PAL, so we're getting even less, we're hitting 50 hertz. So there's probably going to be even less chance you're going to see the flash. And I think we got it. First wave. They got me in the, do we move on to the next round? I do. Okay, so we're on the next one. Looks like it's not the maze. Now we're on the next screen. I can only shoot one shot at a time. Not that it's a fault of that. It's pretty standard for the time. And for Europe, this would have been pretty cool. I don't know about the flashing tanks, though. That's why they're the Phantom Tanks. So you're programming a game that's going to be a tank game. And you realize that you put too many sprites or too many characters on the screen, and they're going to have to flash. So what do? You oh, they made it to the base. They got it. Yeah, you can see the flash. Okay, thanks. When you realize that the game is flashing, you say, wait, what are we going to do? And you say, no problem. We're going to call it Phantom Tank. Because you can barely see the tanks. They're flashing. That's the way it's supposed to be. All right, so we won't check out the third screen, but yeah, this is borderline for all the games we've seen up to this point. It's borderline shovelware. For Europe, though, it's not too bad for the Atari VCS. It's not 2-player, though. That's what's very strange. Only a 1-player game. Yeah, so it's not bad. I'm not going to say a bad title. It's just not very impressive. For consoles, everything we've seen on a console thus far, I'm going to say Phantom Tank is about average for 1982. I'm going to say about 3 stars. Anybody want to throw out some ratings they say? We're going to go bad for Chiptune, but I'll say 3 stars for Phantom Tank. It's about the average for a console. Now, if you think of all the games as a broad spectrum of everything we've seen at this point, yeah, it's not as popular. We played a lot of computer games, and the home computer is going to be a wholly different world than the console. So we're going to go 3 stars with Phantom Tank. Because we're thinking of, we're 1982, what are all the consoles we've seen up to this point? Mattel and Television would be a big pusher, and obviously the very obscure Creativision. That's way up there. It's kind of breaking the curve. Yes, I'm sure it was in the 99-cent bin too. All right, there's Phantom Tank, and this is, we're getting a slow trickle, everyone, of these console games coming out that are just not as impressive. And it's going to bloat and bloat until we get to 1983, so be ready. All right, and with that, let's see what our next game is. We're back on MS-DOS, and this is Pac-Man. Another one done by the same developer for MS-DOS, a freeware version. It's going to look really similar that we played with Pac-Gal. Let's pop it and play Pac-Man. At least the beginning of May in 1982. Alright, I'm going to go slow, but it really isn't going to be that slow. So I'm pushing number 1. Looks familiar, right? It's basically an updated version. Got some better sound effects than we saw of Pac-Gal. But Pac-Man is the same thing. It's almost the same. I think it's the exact same maze, too. Yes, we're going to see some really good ones with the 1983. That's a really good point. I'm hoping when we do the channel playing everything, if I can see when the crash happens, or identify, oh, this is pretty bad, or we had so many bad games one after another. But only time will tell as we play everything. There you go. So there's Pac-Man. I don't think you should ever poke a man. And this game proves it. I'm going to say, just like we saw with Pac-Gal, it's a subpar title for the other ones we've seen. I'm going to say 2.5 stars for Pac-Man. Same as we had before, because, yeah, Pac-Gal was the... Yeah, it's pretty much the same title. We're going 2.5 stars for Pac-Man. And with that, let's press forward and see our next game. We're on the Atari home computer again. This is Powerpath. Let's see what Powerpath's like. That's true. It's going to be like that. We're going to see games that are really close to one another. I don't even know if Pac-Man or Pac-Gal was an update of another one. But I know they were released around the same time, or really close to one another. All right, so Powerpath, we don't have a lot of information for. This one has just some screenshots. Couldn't find box, manual, or anything else. Let's pop it and play Powerpath. The beginning of May 1982 by Raymond Aldridge. Published by Raymond Aldridge Design. That's the way to do it. What am I hearing right now? That sounds like Skynet is coming. Is this the sound it makes whenever computers become self-aware? That's pretty cool. It's like a death techno music that's happening in the background. All right, this is a 2-player only title. So Powerpath, I'm going to have 2 VCS joysticks plugged in. We have no options. Nothing if I push select or option on the computer. We're going to just push start and go in. And we're in. We have 2 players, one on either side that we've just destroyed. You can see I move them to the outside. They leave their dock, and now, if I'm playing as the 1 player, you can see the screen just changed. This is so bizarre. I can't describe the game, and I wish I had some manual to tell us what's happening, but as the 1 player, I'm moving over on the left side of the screen, 2nd player moves over on the right. You have a single shot that can fire to the other side. When you shoot to the other side, if you can make it past the giant jellyfish, this is still the age of imagination. So I'm just going to imagine where we have a giant squid in the center. Wow, pretty freaky. But if you make it to the wall on the other side, if your shot does, you make the wall larger for your enemy. So if you're playing with 2 people, if I play the second controller, they would then have to move around without touching the walls, because if they do, boom, then they blow up. Oh, and we got to move them away, because as soon as you leave the center, it closes on you. It's like the docking station. Oh, and it resets the wall too. Okay, so you have to get yourself back, reset as the second player. And then it's a head-to-head shooting game, one-on-one shooting game. But yeah, and you have to have 2 people to play. The bizarreness of this title, the uniqueness of this title is so intriguing. It is 2-player only, so you have to have someone else. And it is a competitive shooting game, but what a weird idea of having a barrier in the middle, or the squid thing, and then you're just trying to destroy and get the most points out of the other player. You can see the purple and gold player, but I mean, look at the sprite work of the squid, and if you actually hit the squid, they're using the sprite stretch and making the squid larger. That is, it's kind of like that. Yeah, you mean the Skitterine? That was the competitive breakout game. Almost, maybe with the barrier there, but all I have is that 1 shot. There's nothing special like Yars has about firing the ion cannon. It doesn't have that for this one. But 2 players simultaneous is pretty cool, and you have to fit through and using the strategy of expanding the walls to make it harder for your enemy. So I'm just been playing with 1 player, so I'll switch over to 2 player. And you can see you do the same thing from your side, 1 shot at a time. If you don't hit the player, it's all right. You're changing up their side, making it more dangerous for them to move around. So they have to move and... let's see what happens if I touch... Yeah. If you move too close to the front, hit the squid, then you die as well. Oh, it's saying cease fire. Is it counting up points right now? It gives a thumbs down. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Too cool. I love it. You lose. Purple wins. And then repeat again. Going back, yeah, 1 or 2 player. Such a fun idea. Very original, unique. It's reminiscent of another title we played where you're able to shoot the walls and the walls get progressively larger. That's true. It is definitely better than a Phantom Tank. But I'd say for a 2-player game that is competitive, unique, and different, Powerpath is something special. Now, the other title that we played for the Atari 800 was against 2 players simultaneous, but it had co-op mode. But I'd still say for Powerpath, I'm going to go above average. There's something unique and special about a different competitive shooting game where you can change the layout of it. I love it. Chiptune's going 2.5, slightly subpar. I'm going to say above average, considering all the other games we've seen. And for a fun 2-player game, you can have a lot of fun since you can change the landscape. So we'll go 3.5 stars for Powerpath, a game that I don't know much about, but honestly, one of the reasons I'm rating it so high is that thumbs up, thumbs down. I love it. Too fun. All right, that's where we got to put our video game playing on pause this evening. If you were in 1982, how would you rate these games on our 5-star rating scale? We're going to continue we're still in May. We've been here for a long time. The games this year in 1982 progressively get more and more and more every month. So that's why we're in May for a long time. If you think this is a while, we're going to be in the summer of 1982 for even longer. And then when we get to the holiday season, it'll be even longer than that. That's it for today, and like I always say, even mundane tasks can be really exciting if there's a score at the end of it. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.